Hey folks, it's Tom, your frugal prepper. So I was at the electronics store this morning. I was fixing a power supply on a Samsung flat screen TV, and I needed capacitors. I thought I ordered all of them off of DigiKey, but I missed a couple. And while I was there, they had this motherboard used, and so I have my Linux server, and it lives right down here. And I got some 2 terabyte drives in there built into like a RAID 5, so I have like I think 4 terabytes of space, or maybe the 3 terabyte drives and 6 terabytes of space. I don't remember, but that's where I keep all my files at. And this has this old little mini ITX Intel Atom board in it, and I mean it's working, but it's maxed out. I can't fit any more on it. There's only one regular PCI slot and a mini PCI Express slot, and everything's been used. So I wanted to get a board, and I've been looking for something that had more SATA ports, but you know, the new board, I need a little bit more processing power because I'm getting ready. I want to put VirtualBox on there and load another Linux virtual machine that's going to run some Untangle software, which will allow me to do some web filtering so that my son can't get to sites that are bad on the internet. And so I found this motherboard, and it was $30. It did not come with an I/O shield, but I found one for it on eBay for $8. I had the processor here for it in an old Dell that the motherboard was bad on. So this is it's the same one as this one here. It's just an old Core 2 Duo. I mean, it's a $9 chip these days, but it's certainly much better than that Intel Atom that I'm running now, and it should be enough to run a couple virtual machines if I want to. I have I wanted more SATA ports so I could expand my RAID 5 array with some more hard drives. So this has 6 SATA ports built on board, which is really nice. Then I have a standard PCI controller, and this has a slot for that, which would give me 2 more SATA ports. So that would give me a total of 8 SATA ports, which will be nice. And then I went ahead and ordered a 2-port LAN card to go in this PCI Express. So that'll give me the Ethernet on board and 2 more Ethernets, which is important when you're doing virtual machines. You can separate those network adapters to each virtual machine. And then it's got the one PCI Express X16 or whatever, the big PCI Express slot for a video card, but it does have onboard video, which is what I'll use. And you can always stick the short PCI Express card in these too. And then I'll have I'll basically have 2 extra PCI Express slots to add more functionality. But this board's actually pretty nice because it's a little old school, so it still has a regular IDE connector, which you never know. If you have a drive that's IDE, you might want to run an operating system on it or something. This even has a floppy port. It has a serial port, standard old-fashioned COM port, extra fan connections, and then it's got a bunch of USB header ports here. It's got FireWire. It's got digital and analog sound ports, which is nice. So this was a good find for me for $30. It's going to give me everything I need. I found it uses DDR2 RAM. The Dell I pulled this chip out of was DDR3, so I had to kind of go through my old stock. I found a 2 gig and 3 1 gig chips. This board, you can install different sizes. It has 2 banks, but you can install different sizes within the bank, and then so it'll take 1 gig of that bank and use it in the high-speed mode, and then basically sets the extra RAM up, or whatever it has identical sizes for. It uses in high-speed dual channel mode, and it sets the other one up as like a bank C virtually. So still sees it all, and it'll use as much as it can for the super high-speed RAM, which is more than sufficient for what I'm doing. It takes the 4-port connector. Some of the new motherboards now take an 8-port. I have an adapter for that, hooked that up to my power supply. And although I just have this really junky old power supply in here. It's like 300 watt, and I'm running all this hard drives and everything off of it, but the thing's just like a champ. It just hangs in there. I'm surprised. But this will be just a perfect board for what I want to do with Linux. So I'm just happy. I just thought I'd share. I'm getting ready to go tear through some old computers and find a heatsink that'll fit this chip and board, and then I'm gonna fire it up and see if it has a heartbeat. Hopefully the board works. Before I get too far along, I want to make sure the board works. I'm backing up all the data that's on my RAID to the external drive here and to the internal laptop drive. I had to kind of put it on both, but that way I should be able to basically reinstall the OS on my OS drive. I'll just install a fresh Linux copy, and then I should be able to rebuild the RAID that's on those 3 drives. But in case anything goes wrong, I want to have a complete backup of all the data. It's a good idea to have that anyway. I do have a backup of everything really important in the cloud, but I still don't want to lose a lot of the stuff. Even if just drivers and stuff I could download again, I still don't really want to lose it. So that way I'll have a backup in case anything goes wrong during the RAID assembly. And then once that's done, we'll get the rest of this stuff upgraded. It'll be interesting to see how it works. But basically that's what I'm doing is I have this Linux server, and then I can load VirtualBox on that, and then I can virtualize other servers within it that I want to run. So like that Untangle server, things like that. And then it's also my file server, so it serves all my files and stuff. And of course, Linux is a free operating system, as in it's freely and open source. It's open source, and it's also gratis. It doesn't cost anything. So I run CentOS, my favorite Linux distro, because I mostly work in this type of environment of networking. If I was running a desktop Linux box, I of course choose Ubuntu, or maybe Linux Mint. But when you're talking about trying to do server type stuff, I think CentOS, it's an enterprise operating system. It's definitely the way to go. So I'll go get a real power supply and a fan out or something, and then I'll be back here and we'll see if this thing has a heartbeat when we hook it up to a monitor. Alright, so I got everything set up here. I got this power supply I found out in the garage. I have an old PC, 250 watt. Plugging that power here. I got my 4-pin power right there. My CPU fan's all mounted up, plugged in. My RAM's in. I plugged in this monitor up here to it. And I plugged in the power supply, and that green LED's on, which means there's some voltage there. So these 2 pins right here should be power switch. Let's see if it lives. If it don't live, it might be bad RAM. We'll see. Oh, I found this IDE DVD burner in a PC out there too. So that means I can put a CD drive in the computer now and not have to take up a SATA port. Okay, here we go. Got a spinning fan. We're gonna have video. I don't see any video. So it's a possibility that we got bad RAM. So before we flip out, see what happens if we turn it back off. We'll do the hold down thing. It's gonna simulate holding the power button down. And it's not shutting off. And we'll unplug the power supply, and then let me pop some of this RAM out here, and we'll try RAM in one slot here. Let's try powering it on. I got a screen. I had a screen. Oh yeah. There we go. Now I'll power it back up. It's off. Okay, now I'm gonna power it back on. Nice. So it's alive. So I gotta figure out which RAM it's not liking. I'm just gonna cycle these out one at a time and find which RAM was bad. Alright, so I found that this memory stick is bad. This is my 2 gig one. And this 1 gig stick is bad. So So out of all my RAM, I have 3 1 gig sticks that work. But yeah, if I power this guy on, you see he is alive with 3 gigs of RAM. I do have a 512 stick somewhere. I'm not through that in there. Give me 3.5 gigs. That's enough to get her set up and running and make sure everything works, and then I can work on getting some 4 gig sticks to throw in this bad boy. But yeah, I'm happy. So, and these are all, well, this one is actually a slower speed, the 4200, but the rest of these are all 800 megahertz RAM. So if these are 800 and they work, this one should work too. The crucial one though, good thing is it's got lifetime warranty. I'll see what I can do about RMA in this guy. And this is some generic off-brand stuff. I don't even know what's assembled in Portugal. There's the problem. All the good stuff's made in China now. So, but yeah, it's got a heartbeat, so I didn't get ripped off on this board. I'm happy about that, and I'm one step closer to getting Linux reinstalled and running on this board. Anyway, that's just what I'm up to, playing with here on a Saturday. I gotta leave here soon to go visit my son, but I will talk to y'all later. Everybody, have a good day. Be happy. Be frugal out there.